Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. So in today's video, I turned myself into a baby girl demon. I did this for several different reasons. One of them is my love of horror movies from different kinds, from slashers to psychological thrillers. I think it's completely creepy when a movie can take something sweet and innocent looking and make it completely demonic and evil. And also, I'm not getting any younger. Any reason to wear pigtail braids, and also to show how you can take not only things that you have on hand, but other creations that you've made and repurpose them for new looks. So those are the reasons why I chose to do this video. So I hope you enjoy it, settle in, get cozy, and let's just get into the footage. To start, I take a marker and mark off through the brain that I used in a previous look. And if you'd like to see how I made this brain with this mold, the link is at the top here. And going back with some cream paints, I go in with gray to make it more dead gray matter to pop off the red. Taking my scissors, I go through and I cut this gelatin, and gelatin's pretty easy to reuse once you have this mixture of glycerin, water, and gelatin. You can pop things back in the microwave and to warm those back up, and I use that with these pieces that are red and at the bottom. Taking a knife to thin this piece out, I want it a little bit thinner so I don't have the thick edge when I sit it on top of this bear. So just continue to go through with a knife or whatever you have on hand. My X-Acto knives didn't cut through quick enough, so I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and I just continue to make that thinner. Once my piece is thin enough, I give it a clear coat and I go back through and do it with gray, more cream, and an extra clear coat. I shaved the top of this bear's head, and I'm sorry guys, I don't have that footage. It wasn't good footage. I had it, but I didn't include it. But taking a glue gun, I go through and I put this brain into place, and whatever gaps that I have, I just take the glue gun and fill those in and hold it down long enough to where it stays in place and before it dries. Taking the thin red pieces from the gelatin mold of the brain, I go through and I pop that into the microwave about 10 seconds at a time. You want to make sure that you don't burn this gelatin when you reheat it, and just make sure that it's thin and it falls off whatever utensil that you're using. So what I did here was I went through and I filled in the gaps and around the edges, and since it was red, I made sure to make that bleed. And when you do this with glycerin that's red, you're going to have blood that stays glossy and it's not messy. To add more character to this bear, I took acrylic paints and I painted the eyes yellow and the nose white just to give it more character, and so it pops off that red color. On to making the horns, I'm using polymer plastic, which I heat up with boiling water, and I get a shape that I like. These horns are a little bit smaller, but I did want to use 4, and in order to make that base flat, I press it against the countertop. And I just go through and get a shape that I like, and once these start to cool off, you'll notice that they will turn back to white. So you want to work pretty fast and get your shapes in before it does that. Now if you want to go through and take a look at how to sculpt with polymer plastic, I go through a step-by-step process. It's about a 6-minute video that'll teach you how to use plastics, how to color them. I use clear polymer plastic, and this is the Polyplastics brand, and it's cheaper to get it to clear or white and to be able to color and use paints as you wish for the desired look. But that is an option out there if you're looking for that. I go through and make several different style of horns as you see here in this photo, and I take a black Krylon paint and I give that a coat. For the application, I have my hair braided. I have the placement of where my horns are going to be. And I'm using cotton and liquid latex to put these into place. And I make sure that my liquid latex is a little bit tacky before I release it. And I lay cotton around the edge to work and build up on the base. Be sure when you're using liquid latex that you don't get that into any of your hair. You might want to treat it with Vaseline, your hairline, to protect it, even your eyebrows. But I'm used to working with this, and I'm working in small amounts, a little bit at a time. And I continue to work here and work that base up onto the bottom of that horn. This is going to be the skin that runs up on the horn, so it's going to take a little bit of build up. So just take your time with it. And also, once it starts to stay in place, I normally get up, I jump, and I run into the bathroom, and I use a hair dryer. I just continue to work slowly until I get something that stays before I move on to place the other ones. Going through, I build up the base of this horn on the other side. I get that secure, making sure that when I do run this cotton and this liquid latex, that it does get built up on the horn just a little bit. That's going to make it more of that look like it's just busted through the skin. Now, in keeping up with this concept, now you know I like a backstory, and so I thought it's first and foremost a baby girl that's a demon, so her horns would not be as big, and they would be a little bit smaller. And I kept the same ideology through the coloring throughout this process. I wanted it to be what little girls or baby girls or young girls actually do. They play with glitter, makeup, they color, they paint, and they keep things fun. And that was my idea behind doing some of the looks I did with the face paint. So I hope you enjoy that part. I hope it makes sense. I go through here and I place the second horns down, and I make sure to use cotton, liquid latex. Just continue to work in small amounts at one time and you'll be fine. It feels like it's a mess until it dries, but it does get pretty secure. So just go back and forth with a hair dryer to get that dried down as quick as you can. Once my liquid latex has dried, I go through with a powder to get the tackiness and the glossiness off of these horns. Now I am using foundation to color the face and the skin that I mimicked with the cotton and liquid latex, but I want to prime my skin using a primer from Revolution Beauty. This is just a good base to have foundation glide across the face a little bit easier, plus it also makes the skin a little bit more youthful. So I get my skin prepped and I go through and I lay my foundation down, and I'm using a brush today for this because it's easier to move the brush through the horns, as you'll see here in a few minutes. I am using an eyeshadow primer. This helps lock your eyeshadow into place. It helps blending as well as having a good base to work with. And what I do is I use just a little bit of product and I tap that through and blend that in with my finger. And then once I get that done on both sides, I take powder and I lock that into place. Most of the makeup that I'm using for today, as far as the eyeshadow, the contour, the primers, is Revolution Beauty or Makeup Revolution, also known in the States. And they are very good. I got an advent calendar this year for Christmas, and it was a full face, almost a full face of products, and it was reasonably priced, and it was very good to use this. And I just wanted to try some new products to let you know that everything's not ColourPop. So I do have a lot of other products, so I thought that was fun just to throw that in to show you how other products that I have, you might not have, that you can pick up some things that you already know that work for you. And if you want to see some beauty makeup, let me know in the comments below if you want to see me do a full face nothing but beauty makeup. I do have a bunch of products, and I would love to show you how I come up with and create some of my looks. And sometimes it's based upon the eyeshadows that I have and my capabilities and my skill set with beauty makeup. Here I go through with a brush and I buff in up under the eyebrow bone into what I call the transition crease. This is the color that carries the crease that goes darker in between the hooded eye area. And one thing, if you're having a hard time blending out your makeup, one tip I can give you is how you're holding your brush. If you hold it at the bottom, you'll see that you get a gentle swipe of color. And if you hold it at the very edge, closer to the bristles, that line becomes more harsh. So that is one tip that I can tell you that will help you blend out your makeup, your everyday makeup and your special effects makeup. Now I go through the darker color and I get that into the crease, keeping these colors cool because blood is warm, so I wanted everything on the face to be a cool toned because I'm using black lipstick, I have black horns, and I just thought it would pop and make it look a little bit better against the blood that's going to be around the horns dripping down onto the face. Here I go through with my regular foundation and I smooth that out all over. It's just easier control to use a brush at this point. I know you usually see me use a sponge because I have tight areas around the horn. I pick brushes and I stayed to brushes. Now brushes will carry the makeup across the face and build up a lot easier instead of using a blender sponge, which carries it thin over the face. So I did know I wanted a full face of makeup and I wanted that build up to be there instead of taking time to go back through. And this is just a matter of saving time and using tools that you know are going to be better and beneficial to help you with your makeup look. Here I'm going through and I'm putting a little shadow around what I'm going to start calling skin for these horns. I wanted it to look disturbed, like it has disturbed the skin long before it actually broke through. So here I go through and I contour for that. I contour the nose and the cheekbone area just to give the face more definition. I carry the same crease color up under the eye and I blend that out. And this is the Baroque palette from ColourPop, and you see how cool it is, almost like the bruised tones that I use. But I'm putting other colors and layering on top of this for a full effect of sunken skin, dark and demonic. Taking a liquid eyeliner, I go through and I mark just some squiggly lines, and I go through and I match each side, and I take my finger and I blend these to make it darker. This color is going to stay, and just be sure if this is the desired look that you're going for, that this actually dries to a matte finish. This is from Essence. It is very thick, and that's why I chose to use it, because I thought it would show up on camera and be more relatable and more easy to identify the concept of what I was going for. The eyelashes I'm using today come with a little bit of flare at the corner and some glitter, and I use my Duo glue. It's really good, it keeps things in place, but I always put my products on the back of my hand and I use a brush to go over that band and that line of that, and wait till that glue gets a little bit tacky before you place it. And you'll be able to move it when you do that, but it just won't be a mess, it won't slide everywhere, so let that glue get a little bit tacky. Going through again with my Essence eyeliner, liquid eyeliner, I go through and I place these lines down up under just to define the eye, the inner corner a little bit, and running that through up underneath the waterline of the eyelash just for some more definition. She is cute, she's a baby girl, so she's gonna have, you know, more features, more things that she's played with. Maybe she's gotten to her mom's makeup. I used to do that when I was a kid, so I just kept those concepts in mind when I did my actual paint. This lipstick is the Revlon Super Stay 16-Hour Ink Matte Lipstick. I love this stuff. It does not budge. It smells like cookies. If you've seen me use it, I use it often. I have several different colors, and I make sure that it actually gets matte and dry before I go in with my Gavisi water activated eyeliners. And I do love this formula. It is a new company that I discovered within the last year or two. Great products, great brushes, great customer service, and I go through and using reference photos just come up with a design that has some lines that match up under the eyes, and I put this design out through the lips, and you'll see that I use several different colors. I use white, black, and red for this. And you will notice that when I touch my face with this brush, I always have a point of anchor. You see my pinky go onto the face, and that's what's going to help you have a steadier hand, is if you have something to use and steady your fingers with. And so I just randomly go throughout this look and I create something that I thought would be kind of demonic but yet cute, because she is a baby girl. So I just went through and I wanted this to match what's up under the eyes. So I went in and I just winged it at this point, just using a couple reference photos and just getting a design I thought would be cohesive for the rest of the look. Here I'm using the red eyeliner to go through and just define some of the edges of these lines that I put throughout the face, and then to even make those more prominent, I go through with the black and do the same thing. And I carry this color of red up under the eye. I just, to make it cohesive and to make it match, I carry some of the colors back up to the face. As you see that I push red through the black up under the eyes, as well as continue to push white up underneath it. I just thought it was a little bit more fun, a little bit more creative, and represented that youthful girl look to it. It is time for the blood. This is my favorite part. I am using a gel blood that's going to run and stay glossy a little bit longer. So on a brush, I go through and I paint the skin area around the horns, where the horns come through the skin and bust open. And in order to make this bleed into a line, I saturate my brush and I press that into my skin and wait until it starts to drip down. Try to be mindful when you're placing your blood down. You don't want to go through and disrupt any of the shadows that you put down. I see a lot of people do that, and especially beginners in special effects makeup. They'll do and go through and have all these details, and then they'll just cover it up completely with blood and just totally just gets rid of everything that they did prior. So be mindful. It's fun to use blood, but be practical about it. Place it where it needs to be and let it do its natural thing, because once you press and hold, as you see here, you'll see that it bleeds. So be mindful not to cover up the work you already done. Here is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was fun. I hope it was kind of bizarre and out there. I hope it kind of shocked you a little bit, because this was a concept that I wanted to do for a while, because like I said, guys, I'm not getting any younger, and I don't want to be trying to put my hair in braids like this all the time for different looks. But what is it about some of the horror movies that you guys like? Do you just prefer slashers, psychological thrillers? So when I thought about this look, I thought about movies like Children of the Corn, Village of the Damned, Pet Sematary, where you see those cute children come in and they're just demonic and evil and you're not expecting it, and it just really messes with your head. And those are some of the reasons why I came up with doing this. I also wanted to show you guys how you can take something like the brain I did with that exposed brain tutorial I did a couple months back, and you can reuse things like gelatin even if you already have them colored. And so that's one thing about my channel, is special effects on a budget. It's things that you have on hand, things that you can use that's different, that will mimic some of these very expensive products, like making your homemade scar wax, to mixing colors and mixing paints to get the colors that you need if you don't have it. So thank you for being here with me and hanging out. I really do appreciate every one of you. I've been enjoying all the comments you guys have been giving me. And if you think I'm doing a good job, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter for things like sneak peeks and behind the scenes footage, so find me there. Don't forget to comment and tell me what part of movies that you enjoy watching in horror movies. And thanks for being here, and I appreciate you guys. Love you. See you later. Bye.